Yes, we do have, do they give you, oh, yeah, they have it on the other page on the right there.
Yeah, they have it, so it's very welcome.
Yeah. All right, let's put that one up there as well. Another one without a partner here. Do. Do means to reach, to go as far as. It's the prefix you use to indicate that you have overcome a great distance. We ехали и наконец мы доехали до Москвы. We traveled and traveled and traveled, and finally we reached Moscow. So that has an extra shade to it that's different than приехать, simply to arrive. Доехать indicates a large distance overcome. Or to go as far as, you can use it when you're giving directions.
Does that take do?
Yes. Доехать. Do plus genitive.
What is from?
It'll often use, well, let's say for the time being, it doesn't use anything. Yeah, for this chapter, the usages that you need to know are basically just проходите, go past. It's not one of the more used ones. Is it chapter 5 or 6? I forget. One of the later chapters gets into a little bit more of the detail once you know a couple more prepositions. I don't want this. You're getting enough thrown at you right now. I don't want to start throwing new prepositions at you to juggle as well, particularly when they're not going to be reinforced in the homework or in the rest of the chapter. I know Russian often turns into a sort of a wait and see game. You're not ready for that. We save that for the advanced students. But oh well. We also don't want you to, we also don't want your heads to explode. So. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. Можно стирать. Оформление. Formation. All right. On pages 151 and 152, you have all of these verbs in both of their imperfective and their perfective forms. So I'm not going to go through every single one of them, because once you get the pattern down, you can form these on your own. But I want to go over the things that are odd, the things that are worth pointing out here. Let's see now. Just looking at the first one there, приходить, прийти. As I pointed out before, when you put a prefix before et, two things happen. The d drops out and the e becomes an i kratkaya. So прийти, to arrive. But priti is even a little bit weird, even for being weird. So you do our famous exceptions to exceptions with Russian. When you conjugate this verb, the i kratkaya drops out. So you're really taking off all of that, and then you're adding a d to your stem there. Я приду, I will arrive. So again, remember, prefix in front of the unidirectional is perfective. Prefix in front of the multidirectional is imperfective. Я прихожу, I am arriving. Они приходят, they are arriving. Я приду, I will arrive. Я пришел, I arrived. So приду, and same thing, add your first conjugation endings. Приду, придешь, придет, придем, придете, придут. All right. Moving over to the bivehicle one. When you put a prefix in front of ездить, again, two weird things happen. But one weird thing, one somewhat normal thing, actually. The somewhat normal thing is that there is a mutation from de to je. You're used to those. There's one in hadit, haju. So your stem becomes yej. That shouldn't be too surprising. But the other weird thing is that for whatever reason, this second conjugation it verb, yeju, yezdish, yezdit, becomes a first conjugation verb in at, yezhat. I have no idea why. It's a mystery of the universe. Time.
I'm looking at it, and when you put a prefix on that, you need to, ESD and yechut, you need to put a hard sign if it's a consonant.
I'll get there. Yes,
Okay.
I'll get there. Don't worry. Don't get too ahead of me.
Okay.
Yezhat. This then becomes a normal first conjugation verb. Yaipri. I should point out that doesn't exist. Never use that. It only becomes yezhat with the prefixed verbs. That's another mistake I see in the advanced classes every once in a while. Is this you get yezhat in your head and it bounces around. Yezhat only with a prefix. Pri yezhayu. Right. And again, yezdit is the multi-directional verb, so it's the imperfective. Yeah, pri yezhayu, I am arriving. Pri yechet with the unidirectional, that's the perfective. Yeah, pri yedu, I will arrive by vehicle. Uhodit uiti, the same thing applies here, except uiti. I told you this was weird because the ikrat kaya drops out, and sure enough, when you conjugate uiti, uidu, you keep the ikrat kaya, the e with the breath over it. It's only priti where the ikrat kaya drops out. In all of these other forms, your ikrat kaya is going to remain. Uidu, uidu, uidyosh. That one doesn't exactly roll smoothly off the tongue. Uidu, uidyosh, uidyot. Same thing, uyezhat, your yezdit becomes yezhat, uyechet. All right, vchadit, vaiti, all right, our same pattern, put your vo before chadit, you get your imperfective, put your vo before your et, you get to enter, except you need to use the va instead of vaiti, which is useful because it makes it easier to distinguish from viti to exit, vaiti to enter, viti to exit. But all right, exactly as Rose mentioned, when you do this with the verbs of motion, remember Russian is very particular about this. A hard letter is a hard letter, a soft letter is a soft letter. They are what they are, and you need to keep hard letters hard, you need to keep soft letters soft. We did this, how many times did we go over this last year with the endings, where you need the hard column, the soft column, and making sure you're picking the right ending. This same concept applies here. This prefix v is a hard v. It has to remain hard. So you come into a problem when you put v in front of yezhat. Ye is a soft indicating vowel. If you put a ye after this v, it becomes a soft v. Russian doesn't let you do this. The v has to remain hard, so how do we do that in the language? That's what the hard signs are for. So you finally get to write a couple hard signs. I know it's been a while. I think maybe you've had one word that's had a hard sign in it. The language used to be full of them. The Bolsheviks got rid of them. It was one of the few things that they did that actually made sense.
Why does yechet and yezdit get a hard sign and et gets an O? Because it's vaiti.
You mean this and this
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for starters, remember that this is a normal alteration.
Right.
Va floridia.
So why didn't it work that
Well,
way?
think about it. Pronounce that. You can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So you need another vowel in there merely to
Right,
pronounce
okay.
it, and that's the form that exists. So that's my best answer to that, not being a historical linguist myself, but basically it's, you can't pronounce this, it needs a vowel, and that's the one you use with this particular prefix. And that the O is a hard indicating, so it's not it, so it's not it. Right, other than that, once you have those weird things in your mind, everything else is just cranking it through the system. Right. Вопросы есть. Все более или менее понятно? Понятно? Ясно? Молодец.
У меня есть просто вопрос,
Конечно.
not about this. Вы хотите наше домашнее задание? Или нам
Нет,
нужно...
не хочу. Дайте это Рассель.
Хорошо.
Мне абсолютно все равно. У нас остается несколько минут. Давайте попробуем вот это. We're going to go a little old school today. Это старая технология.